This is pretty big stuff, pretty important stuff, Divok, this month, isn't it? Loads of stuff going
Yeah,
on.
it's going to be an absolutely massive month, and of course, like you said, this is all leading up to WTS and of course TOL as well. So there's plenty of things going on, and this is just half of it because of course you've got the American side of things as well, which is coming up later on.
Epic. I am excited as anything to get these games underway because I want to know, and I want to know towards the end of the month as well, who's going to be going to our qualifiers and who's going to win this first game, because we've actually got some top-end players playing over on the red team. So what I'm going to do in the first place is go over the red team and have a look at their builds. Just turn the volume up in Guild Wars 2 because we like that kind of classic Guild Wars 2 music, and it's what we enjoy. So let's stick that up a little bit over here, and we'll start going through the builds. Having a look at Zan first. He's going to be playing Celestial Rifle, of course, with the Vampirism rune. He's going more into tools this time, going for the Power Wrench, of course, reduces his recharge on those abilities, and also increases some of the damage, of course, as well. Going for the kind of typical setup of Grenade Kit, Toolkit, and also the Slick Shoes, and of course going for that Supply Crate over on the Elite. Then we're going to jump over onto Munapar, which is going to be an interesting name to try and say throughout the day. Dagger Elementalist with the Holdback rune there, sticking with the Might over on one of the daggers as well. Standard utilities, and also the Fiery Greatsword there. Nothing much different in the traits either from the standard that we normally see. Skull Kid is going to be playing, and he's going to be in a very fun, awkward place. Thanks for that, mate. He's going to be playing Shoutbow Warrior, going for Fear Me there, as well as the Banner with the standard trait spread there as well. And then we're going to go over to Misha, who's playing a DPS Guardian. Now, rank 55 dragons, obviously, as you can probably imagine, is a combination, well, a gathering of some of the 55 players who have actually played on 55 HP monks at one time or another, but have changed their name. And Misha's not playing Mesmer today, he's going to be playing on that DPS Guardian with the Hammer, of course, and the Meditations as well. Checking that is the Scepter, as it does look a bit random as well. And then finally going over to Red Levin, who's going to be playing Panic Strike DP Thief, and he's going to be rolling with the Infiltrator Signet instead of the Blinding Powder, which we've seen being a bit more popular as of late. We're going to go over to Blue Team, and Divok is going to take us away with that.
Yeah, just quickly to note as well, Red Levin is going with the Vampirism rune, which is something that you've seen a few thieves doing, and everyone seems to be doing it now. So keep your eyes out for that. As we start over on the blue side with Sizer, he's going to be running your Sword Dagger build, I believe, because that's what Sizer does.
It is.
Sticking with the 20066 build instead of the 4 points, deciding definitely not to go for that improv anymore. Then we're going over to Homunculus. He's going to be playing your standard Shadow Warrior. Nothing really to talk about here except for the fact that he's not taking Reckless Dodge, but that's an American thing anyway. Then we have our second Thief, which is something to definitely point out about this team. They do like running their double Thief, and it seemed to work very, very well for them last week. They certainly had a lot of map presence with their two Thieves rotating together, and this is of course Chosen Sin with his Panic Strike Dagger pistol build. So we've got both variants of Thief here, and then we've got a pair of Elementalists to round out the lineup. I'm pretty sure they're both Dagger, Celestial Elementalists, running almost identical builds with just changes to the sigils for both.
Okie dokie, so what we're going to do is ask the guys to ready up with a smiley face, and we will get going with the first game of the Go4 Guild Wars 2 Cup in Europe, of course, number 27. Hopefully you guys are ready for a fun-packed day. We're going to have at least 4 series, and we might nip over to different ones depending, so we don't make the breaks too long. But there will be a lot of teams taking part, obviously, today, so you will have to bear with us as well. So if you just joined the stream, this is the first series of the Go4 Cup number 27. Points will be awarded as well depending on where you place in this cup. Those points will go into a league table, and they will have a choice. Well, they will have a choice. I can't imagine that they won't want to go to the WTS qualifiers to go to potentially Cologne and fight for a ton of money. But if they so should wish, they don't have to, I guess. But I can't imagine that they wouldn't want to. So we are going to go into this first game. What we're going to do is we're going to ask Divox to go through the splits in this first game. So thanks for joining us, everyone. Who do you think is going to win? Hashtag Mindgrind or hashtag Rank 55. Let us know in the chat what you think is going to happen. And we're going to go through the splits in 5 seconds with Mr. Divox.
So yeah, it looks like Red Team are going to be focusing on their home and mid nodes just because of the way that they split. They're not crossing over, and so are Blue Team. So no one going for that aggressive cross over the beach. Instead, they're just grouping up a little bit more, although we do have, I believe that's Chosen Sin, hanging back, looking for that crossover, so he was expecting that, and that's going to mean they're outnumbered at mid for the first engage. We're going to see a 4-on-3 to begin with Chosen Sin eventually rotating into this midpoint.
Yeah, CEST gets caught out just almost very quickly over on the keep on the west side of the node now as blue team start to gather up and to move together as a team onto the point. Scovo taking that initial damage as a red team enter as well. As you can see, Misha dropping that ring of warding as well as he tries to come into the point. Just in Misha's perspective at the moment, does have a heal at the moment. Was in trouble as CEST tries to take him out from behind as well, but he just disengages. Been a bit sneaky there, CEST, re-engaging with the thief with Chosen Sin and then trying to take out their targets as well, as we are going to see Moonpa start to move over towards the henge. CEST following from behind.
Yeah, the two thieves are looking to train down one target and burst them down instantly. One thing that I saw during that fight, I was looking at the health bars on either side. None of them were going down. There's excellent support coming out from both teams as we see them jump straight on top of Moonpa. He is going to take a little bit of damage. Managed to dodge some of it, but he's popped the majority of his utilities and his evasive skills now. He is going to try and get away, but of course they can just leave one to cap the point and have the other chase. So Red Levin's going to be the one chasing Moonpa. Actually, no, I screwed up. They're both going after Moonpa. They both want to bring him down and they want to make this a 4v5 across the map.
Indeed, that's a good thing for them to have, actually. Get the outnumbered odds early in the game, try and take those team fights over a mid, especially, and get the advantage. We did see the potential decap happening over on the mine, actually, when Quivo, and Red Levin's gone in there for the damage as well. Not going to be able to keep that point. He's going to lose contention in a moment. We are going to see over on the mid point as well. Homunculus has been taken down over on the east side of the keep. Red team picking up mid quite quickly here as Chosen Sin comes in from the top, just dropping into his perspective. He's actually going to go right round the end of the map now and over to possibly mine to help pick up that cap now. Skullkid and also Red Levin are on this point. Quivo here as well as we see CEST dropping in to drop some nice damage on Skullkid. Red Levin now making his presence known, and CEST just getting feared off in the distance. We can see a massive team fight erupting here over on the mine as we see both other caps at the moment being held by Scovo and Zan.
Yeah, it was a really nice engage over on this point just before Red Levin actually got downed but managed to duke it out and get rezzed up, and now we're going to see, like you say, 4 players from either team but all fighting over this one point. CEST is getting very low though. He is going to be cleaved down even though he's in a shadow refuge, and that is one scary thing about being in that SR is that you can just be cleaved down, but really nice group up and res on him. I don't think they used any utilities or banners or whatever to get him up, so that was very, very nice, especially considering he's a thief. He's not going to be lasting too long. Red Levin does get taken down off mode. They are going to try and put some CC and some cleave onto him, but they themselves aren't too high of health. They have to be very, very careful while trying to cleave Red Levin down, but then again, like I said, he is a thief, so he's not the hardest person to cleave at all. And certainly showing that they have the greater cleave.
That was tough there because Red Levin actually kind of got a bit caught out as he jumped down. He was in a bit of an awkward position and kind of, funneled himself into an area where, people could come down and drop some nice cleave off, and unfortunately he wasn't able to get back up in time to help the rest of his team, and he did go down in the end. Misha very low himself as well. He starts to try and use that same kind of tactic to actually get out here and does drop Chosen Sin there, dropping the ring of warding as well. Is anyone down there to support him? We've got both guys in the down state at the moment. Who's going to be able to get that secured down? We're going to see Moonpa go for it. The rest is going to be good from CEST. Oh, this is looking great for the blue team coming back from that fight. We are going to see the war banner dropped as well. Both members up from either team, and the fight is still going strong over here, over on the mine.
Meanwhile, on the henge, they did actually rotate 2 people over there. Red Levin, who did get killed, he went from respawn with Zan to the henge node. So they're going to take that, although they do lose the cap on mid because CEST, as always, is there to decap. So that's going to be tit for tat there, but very, very nice move from Chosen Sin, but equally nice move from CEST, recognizing that's going to happen as Red Levin does try to take CEST out, but of course he is a dagger pistol against a sword dagger, so he might have a little bit of trouble with that.
Yeah, I think they'll keep it contested and until someone solid can kind of move on the point. They'll drop the decaps and then get the caps back. Although Red Levin is probably getting a few more decaps on that point than CEST at the moment. So having a look over on the other side, we've still got this point contested. Red team start to take the lead as they do have the only node on the map, and Zan's going to be looking after that classic point holder role. Has been re-engaged on this other team that they've kind of assembled here. Still CEST versus Red Levin over on the mid, and he's actually getting a lot of the cap points at the moment. We are going to see Misha jumping in there, and if they take out CEST, this is going to be a great opportunity for them to take the fights elsewhere. They are going to drop him. CEST drops their SR, but we are going to see assistance coming in from Chosen Sin, who unfortunately was a bit too late there. His stealth tries to move away, but does get immobilized as well by the Panic Strike Thief coming out from Red 11 there, and Sizer is going to be taken out. This is a good move from the red team to +1 that fight from Misha actually over on this mid part.
Yeah, it was a very, very nice move from him. As soon as you saw him jump in, Sizer just dropped down to about 10% health, and then the Ring of Warding to keep him in is very, very nice against thieves, especially ones that use Withdraw, because of course it will interrupt that during its channel. Red 11 is dropping very, very low. He's escaping on... How much health does he have there? 436. Escaping on next to nothing, but Zan's there, of course, with the support, with the heal. And it's really nice to see these guys working together so well. Like you said, they have all played on teams together at some point in the past. But not necessarily a group as 5 like this. So it's nice to see that sort of synergy and support coming out already with this team.
Oh, Chosen Sin's going to get caught there by Misha and also Red 11. That Thief and also DPS and also that DPS Meditation Guardian combo coming right out there. Obviously, Guardian's having quite a nice time against Thieves as well, as Red 11 just stealths up Misha and also himself to move over for this surprise mine attack. Red team doing a great job at just, like we keep saying, supporting each other, and actually just their rotation seems to be quite on it at the moment. We are going to see just the red team start to gather up outside the mine node now. Skull Kid is going to keep the point contested so that they can come in and potentially do a great DPS move here as more players are going down across the map. Sizer's been taken out just over here on the mine as well, just as they were gathering up to enter the node, and they're just singling out people as well at the moment. They're keeping the fights even, and as they get the kills, they're going to +1 elsewhere. This is a great move from the red team.
Yeah, Misha and Red 11 doing a great job of what Sizer and Chosen Sin were doing really well last week, and that's grouping up as this DPS pain train and just taking out that one target instantly. Haven't really seen it coming out from Chosen Sin and Sizer that much this round. Sizer instead going for those G-caps, being the general map presence, but as I say that, they are grouped up now and they're looking to try and engage on Zan, who has dropped a crate, so they're going to be a bit cautious of that, but they will go in, they will try and take him down. He's already very, very low. That took about 1 second for these two thieves, who are both using short bow to burst him down. So that was a very nice short bow burst coming out from those two, something you don't see too often.
I mean, I think as well, with the short bow, especially with the turret nerf, a good way to take out those turrets quickly is to just use that short bow and AoE the hell out of them, because they're so easy to take down. I mean, he's using it just for the stun so that he can at least interrupt, and then, you know, in the end they can take him and the turrets down quite easily with 2 thieves doing that short bow as well. And we are going to join again. The mine point is, the mine fight is very alive still. It's really like, you know, it's being kept at a 2v2. Some the players will drop in for the red team. They'll even it back out if blue team have +1'd it, and then they'll come out to the rest of the map and actually +1 elsewhere to get those quick caps. We are going to see Red 11 potentially drop here as he goes into that Vampirism prop from his rune, of course, and then Misha's going to drop in as well. Red 11 should be able to come back in here though and offer up some support. Most likely target's going to be Chosen Sin. He still needs to get his health back up a little bit. He's just stealthing on the side, just being a little bit cautious. There you go. He's going to jump on him as soon as possible. Chosen Sin does get away with a little bit of a burning tick on him. Misha needs to be careful as well as he starts to drop quite low. Does have renewed focus though.
Meanwhile, over on the mine node, we have had our victors. Blue team are finally going to take that one after fighting it out there for nearly 10 minutes now. That's going to go their way. But over on the mid, they are going to have a couple of downs here, but the stack res is going to be enough. Quove is going to try and back away. Of course, they committed a lot to the mine node, and they've lost Quove on this one, and a cleave coming out from Misha. Fantastic job on that little choke there on the stairs. Misha saying, why you use a DPS Guardian?
He just came out with a hammer too, right into the face of Chosen Sin as he started to move in for the res and just bursted him down like anything. Unfortunately, Chosen Sin was just trying to go for the res on his buddy, and Misha just said, "Nah, you're not having that, mate. Sorry." I'm just going to jump back over to the mine where the story continues of this, you know, this kind of big, massive contention that just keeps coming out. Red team really pulling them over to this fight now as well, as they're actually going over to Zan's perspective over on the henge now as he tries to escape from Sizer here on this point. And blue team are having a lot of troubles dealing with this kind of DPS Guardian and Thief combo in a lot of areas.
Yeah, well, DPS Guardians are pretty nasty against thieves in general, and when running 2 thieves, it's certainly not your best matchup in the world. But what Red Team have done, which is something you pointed out, is that they're keeping the fight on the mine going, which is their home node. So even if they do lose someone to this double thief combo, they're going to be straight back into the fray. So it's a very, very nice sort of map control, but not in its usual way in terms of deciding where the fight's going to happen. They've certainly done that very well this game.
And, oh, we are going to see actually Red Livin trying to get Misha up there as well over in that Shadow Refuge. Good job from Red Livin there. Good res. As the blue team were trying to cleave him down there as well. They're going to drop the Shadow Refuge of their own as they start to engage. Probably on Misha. Misha's not going to have any of it. Misha's just going to drop straight into that Shadow Refuge and is actually going to use that nice meditation port, especially the combo with the Ring of Warding to try and lock down Scovo here before he can get back up to the point so they can potentially get that decap. Nice idea, weren't able to in the end. We are going to have the even up from the blue team in the 2v2 situation now, as Scovo is literally about to go down. We're going to see Moonpa join into this fight as well, and Scovo taken out of this game. As red teams start to just, you know, pile onto the node. They're doing a great job around the map. Are we going to see the mine pick up from the blue team now? They need to get a decap over on the henge to really make sure they come back into this game.
But the damage on this midpoint is just far too much. They've had one person on respawn. They've come back in there. Scovo's back in. But as that happens, they're about to lose Clove again, and size is low as well. So red team are doing a very, very good job of just keeping that one-man advantage across the map, while sustaining their entire team. Like I said before, their support between this team, even though they've somewhat recently started playing together, is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm enjoying this at the moment. The only thing I wish there was a Mesmer in this game. I just think he could open it up for the red team a little bit. Sorry, for the blue team a little bit. If they could, it would increase their mobility no end. We are going to see another decap coming out from Sizer. Sizer doing a great job of keeping the blue team in this game at the moment. We've seen the decap coming over on the henge as well. Chosen Sin going into the downstate. And the point you made earlier is that, you know, we saw Syndranir and Sizer being very, you know, their partnership as they moved around the map was very relevant and had a lot of impact on the game. But we've chosen Sin and Sizer this pairing now. We don't see that coming out as much, so might be good to see them in the next game potentially partner up much like they did before, but maybe red team are putting them in that situation where they just can't do that.
Yeah, the decaps are very crucial, as you said, and Sizer has to be leaving for that because they don't have anyone else that can really go for the decap. If they perhaps had an engineer instead of two of the elementalists, engineers are notoriously good at beating up whoever's on the point because they have so much GC. But yeah, they don't typically have a decap on their side other than the Sword Dagger Thief, so they can't roam as a pair. And it's certainly 55 who are taking advantage of that by grouping up their pair and bursting down whichever one they happen to come across.
I think the game's kind of relaxed a little bit at the moment as Sizer kind of chills out over towards the mine. He's waiting for the red team thief Red Levin to come in as well. As he gets taken, he's going to be chased away from that point. Just having a look over on mid at the moment, going into perspective of Munapar. He's just trying to take out Scovo here with the rest of the blue team fighting on node as well. Going to see some more team members starting to drop up here as Quive is taken out, of course, over towards the henge, and Sizer's not able to get there quick enough to get the res up on him, but he is going to get the decap. We're going to see Homunculus, though, over on mid, dropping quite low himself here. He's going to need some support. Scovo's going to come in. He's going to be able to drop that support onto him and get into that water attunement. He is going to be able to give him a bit of regeneration. Not enough condition removal, though, and we are going to see Skull Kid just coming in for the nice damage, as well as Red Levin from afar to make sure that he's going to go down here. No res coming out for him.
Yeah, Red Levin hit a beautiful immobilize at the last second there to make sure that they got that down onto Homunculus. So he's definitely going to be out. Sizer's also out. Scovo's dropping low as well. This looks like it's the dying moments for the mine game. They certainly put up a decent fight here, but like we said, they just couldn't break 55. They tried with decaps. They tried with a massive team fight over a mine. No matter how they went about it, they couldn't seem to get that sort of X factor over their opponents.
They're so aggressive with these decaps. They want every single node all the time. They've just got so much pressure on all the points at the moment. And Skull Kid in the end getting a nice decap over on the mine is going to win them the game. 500 points to 298. For Mind Grind, unfortunately for them, Mind Grind getting quite far in recent ESL weekly cups. But yeah, still some way to go for them to come back in the next game and potentially push it to a 3-game series. So, what can they do differently? One thing is, I really liked the Mind Grind kind of thief cooperation that we saw coming out in the weekly cup just gone past. Maybe they just need to go back to that and try and take out those kind of squishy targets like Misha and also God, I've forgotten the team members' names. Anyway, the thief as well, and sorry, Red Levin. How can I forget his name? Oh my God, that's terrible. But yeah, I think that combination would work very well. I mean, they've split out very much today, but that's because Red Team are pushing all 3 points, so the thieves can't really travel together too much because they're just going to be outnumbered on every node. So, what would you reckon that they could change up in this game, Divok?
Well, like you said, those two grouping up and going after targets are not even necessarily the squishy targets. They can also go after Moonpa if they want. Elementalists are notoriously a good target for DPS trains to beat down on. Indeed, they did do that right off the bat. At the very, very beginning of that last round, they went after Moonpa. They left the mid-fight and went and killed the other Elementalist. And it was going in their favour at that point. They certainly had a bit more map control. They had a 2-cap over the 1-cap of the enemy team. So that was nice to see. Also, as I mentioned previously, they are running 2 Elementalists, which... they have fallen out of the meta recently, and there are reasons for that, including reasons such as Zan. Not once did we see one of these Elementalists 1v1 Zan and either decap or win the node. I think it happened once, and Zan won, because you can't decap an engineer as an Elementalist, and as an engineer you can easily decap an Elementalist just because you have all of that CC options, and all an Elementalist can really do is use Armor of Earth once, and then that's it.
It's a good point. It's a very good point. I mean, if anything, at the very least, maybe going for a Staff Elementalist and a Dagger would be probably quite a good option for them to go for. But, they're still opting for this. I think, it really is a good point. They can offer up the regeneration. They can offer up, the increased damage over time with the fire fields and whatnot as well. But, at the end of the day, there is no substitute for a Zan.
Yeah.
And he's great at keeping those nodes and also, getting those decaps, which is so essential. So maybe, like either a switch in for an engineer or switching in for a staff ellie would really benefit them a whole lot more. But we'll have to wait and see if they go for any change up in the last seconds of this game. We do have everyone in the map. Just going to quickly check these builds to make sure there's been no specific changes. Jebro Warrior Skull Kid. Still got Moonpa over on DD Elementalist, Misha on DPS Guardian. The game's going to start. I don't think we've got any changes here at all. But yeah, still SD, still DP, still Homunculus is going to play Jebro Warrior, Scovo on DD, and we are going to see still Quive on DD as well. So we go into this map. Divok's going to go through the splits for us today, guys. In the second game, Legacy of the Fofar, Mindgrind versus Red Team, who's going to be ranked 55 Dragons.
So as we see the blue team, we've got Chosen Sin and Sizer grouped up again. This is very, very nice. I want to see them doing this an awful lot more. They're hanging back. They're waiting for that 1v1 on mid to erupt, and then they're going to jump straight on that. However, on the other side, Red team are going to engage as 3 onto Waterfall, so they can potentially get 2 kills here, which will certainly be very, very good for them, and that's where we should look over to now as they get the engage. Over onto Homunculus, he's dropping low. He's down already, dropping those sleek shoes around him to make sure that the res can't get out, but Sizer has rotated over here already. He's going to be able to get him back up, and they're going to be able to persist in this team fight.
There's not much cleave coming onto that corpse there. He's going to get knocked though, and then Zan just decides to jump over. Quiver gets knocked back by that Accelerate Pack Torix proc from Zan there as well, but that's not going to interfere. He wants to try and get the res. He gets pulled back and CC'd. Quiver gets immobilized so much and just CC'd out of the fight there that he's going to go down himself. And as they bring back Sizer up, they are going to lose Quiver here. And they are also going to lose Homunculus. Unfortunately for the blue team, they're going to have to disengage quite quickly and really back up they need to kill Moonpa really, really fast. Red Levin left the fight so early to try and take out Chosen Sin here. A good choice from him to bail as soon as possible and really just rule the whole map.
Yeah, it was a very, very nice movement from Red Team there, and big props to Zan. Those CCs were not only good, but they were well timed as well. He spaced them out so long that he knew that they could just burst him down. So fantastic play on that down course by him when they had limited cleave. And like you said, really, really good movement coming out from Red Levin, and then of course Misha as well, to move over to this midpoint and counter-initiate on there. And now they have a 3-cap, 2 minutes into the game.
The 3-cap hype is real. Look at blue team though, they're doing a good thing. They're doing a good thing at the moment. This is really important that you don't start running out into the map as soon as you can and start 1v2ing, 1v3ing, losing your players because there's no chance of a comeback. It's very early in the game. They can easily come back if they group up as a team and start to move out and get these singular kills, which is kind of what they're working up towards. now as they move into the mid. Look at Misha coming in with that ring of warding and combination of damage coming out from the red team. None of them are dropping low on HP other than Red Levin, and that's because he's committed to the fight and the AoE pressure now. We are going to see, obviously, Homunculus coming out with that war banner as well as he starts to try and escape and releasing his team of conditions, dropping that Warhorn abilities as well as his F1, and we are going to see him drop back into the fight to try and res Chosen Sin here over on the west side of the midpoint. But still a bit of a struggle for Blue. They're not able to get any focus down on the red team at all.
Yeah, something you said during that fight really sort of occurred to me is that you said they were trying to escape, and that's all they've been trying to do. They're trying to peel for each other, they're trying to back away so that they can re-engage, and it's red team who are constantly on top of them, doing the damage all of the time. Although, as I say that, that's probably a bit of Caster's curse there as Red Level war banner from Skullkid there. That's going to bring him back up, and there was a no war banner on the blue side. So Skelbo, Homunculus, Sizer, you guys are all done for, I'm afraid.
That's a horrible thing to happen. Although someone could have come in for the blue team there, there would have been a hero getting a 3-man res off of 1 kill, but unfortunately no one is in that position. Blue team have got the actual cap over on the quarry now, but they really need to think about defending this node rather than actually engaging back into the map, which is what they're going to do. Still Homunculus and Skovo there waiting for the respawn. We're going to see Sizer coming out now as well, but he's going to engage upon someone who is trying to take the gate down at the moment. It's going to be Zan, thinking about that early boss kill to end this game quickly, maybe.
Yeah, maybe they do fear the rotational power of the Sword Dagger Thief. Of course, something that's very, very strong on this map is its ability to just dart across the entire 3 points within a matter of seconds. So certainly going for something like a boss kill, something that the Sword Dagger Thief can't have too much impact on, and ending this game before his decaps become too much of an issue would be a good thing for them.
It's amazingly, a lot of these players are very similar in skill level, but Red Team's communication and just DPS and, focus targeting is just really on it at the moment. I'm not feeling the double thief from the blue team this week as much as I did on Thursday at all, to be honest. But it's not to say that they're not doing a good job, but Red Team is so focused on the whole map that they're not able to do what they would actually normally prefer to do, and that's to travel around as a pair and take out these singular targets around the map. Look, I'm not getting involved in all that cleave over there. There's so much damage, just too many effects. Like, you will not be able to see a thing, as the point over on the waterfall is just blowing up at the moment. Although blue team do have the advantage now with Zan in the downstate. He's going to get a fast res from Levin and also from Misha there. No cleave coming in from the blue team. To start to move across the map. They think they maybe won that fight here.
They had already killed off their cleave, sadly. The only DPS they had on this point was Chosen Sin, and he'd already been burst down. As you were saying that they weren't focusing very well, they did focus fantastically on Zan, but Zan did a brilliant job of kiting around this waterfall node. You can tell he's a side cap player. He knows this cap like the back of his hand. He was jumping around all of the spots, surviving for as long as possible, and then the vampirism were procced just as he was about to go down, and they managed to kill off Chosen Sin there. So that's pretty much what won them this fight, being able to bring down the DPS before their point holder died. That gave them the 1-up on this node. That's going to mean that they can hold both this and mid. However, mid is getting quite a big engage coming out from the side of TMG here, as they're trying to take out Moonpart rather than Skullkid here. It is going to be difficult though, because this is an Elementalist backed up by a Shoutbow Warrior, so it's going to take quite some time. And during that time, we should be able to see some rotations coming out from red team.
I think so. They're kind of just holding at the moment. We've seen 2 downs coming out. Skovo in downstate. We've also got Homunculus as well being taken out here, as Zan kind of carefully just watches him. Doesn't even need to pull out his rifle for, because he's got the point, so doesn't need to knock him off the node and let him bleed out. Chosen Sin low HP here as he thinks about getting another re-engage. And now this is the point in the map where I would expect a massive comeback, which normally happens over on the Faux Fire right towards the end of the game when it's ridiculously too late. But I don't think it's going to happen this time around, unfortunately.
Especially since Red Levin Shadow refuged across the entire map and went for the decap. It's 2-0 here currently, because Red Levin is a sneaky little so-and-so.
I think we've seen the GG coming out from Sizer there.
Yep.
Just checking that we are going to indeed end the game. Looks like everyone's pretty quiet. Chosen Sin comes in for the potential stealth move onto... there we go. Okie dokie. So, that is going to be the end of that game. And we're going to be moving over to the... No, it's not going to be the semi-final. It's going to be the quarter-final. Congratulations to rank 55 taking that second game, and we're going to see them in the next round. Whether or not we're going to see them in the we're not sure who we're going to take. We've got a lot of different teams in the cup today as well, so we're going to just drop into cams now so you can see our awesome faces. And yeah, just quickly explain exactly what's going on today. If you have just joined us for the ESL Go4GW2 Cup number 27, I want to say 77 now. That's way in the future. That's another year from now. Otherwise, yeah, we've just seen the round of 16. We have 15 teams in today, which is pretty awesome. What exactly can they get today? What can they get points, right, Divok? But what else can they do this month?
Anyone who's gotten this far already has their llama. So any of these teams that have won their first match into the quarterfinals, they're all getting a llama, which they can turn into some fabulous llama. Nick knows all those details. I'm not that much of a llama enthusiast, so I don't know anything.
The lavish llama. The lavish llama with the hat and the monocle and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so there's that for anyone that gets to the quarterfinals. Then, of course, once you get to the semi-finals, there are gems up for grabs. If you come third or second, you'll have 2,000 gems per player. If you come second, there'll be $100 in it, €100 rather, in it for your team. And if you win, you'll get $400. But that's not where it ends, and Jebro's going to explain how the whole WGS system works.
See, I was waiting for you to say it, but I'll go for it as well. So this month, you know, we have, if you go onto the actual website, so that's play.eslgaming.com/guildwars2/global, you can actually see from there, there's like the NA and the EU section, and it will have league tables, and that will be updated tomorrow. At the moment, it's still got last month's on it. But you'll see the top 8 teams. I do believe this is exactly the way they're doing it. The top teams that have the most points, rather than last time, which was actually the top 2 teams that go through from each cup will go through from each cup. It's different this time. It's like a mini league table. So those top 8 teams, most participation, most placements for those points as well, will mean that they will go through to the WTS Qualifier Invitational, which will then lead on to the WTS over in the EU, which obviously, as the EU Cup, we are extremely excited about, because we will have 2 teams there. We'll have one NA team and we'll have one Chinese team. So which 2 teams are going to go there will be decided by the end of this month. And we've already started to make these decisions today. So thank you very much for joining us. We're going to go to hopefully a quick break. We do have a lot of teams today, so you have to forgive us. There'll be a lot of different timings on these games. We might drop into something else that looks pretty interesting. Otherwise, enjoy some tunes, and we'll see you very soon.